Patriotic, and it has changed my life. I'm a fan of his ever since. I love this collection. Of his most legendary supermodels and more. The four queens of the runway. Fashion, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner. Librarian tonight, and that's because I came to read a bitch. Jaja's Atelier, bitch. Welcome back to another episode of Jaja's Atelier. It's me, bitch. Anyway, how was everybody's week? Guys, the weeks are going by so quick. Now, I knew it was May, but I completely forgot. Bitch, my birthday is in a few weeks. I will be turning a very sexy 34. I feel like I look better than I've ever looked. And that's probably, my transition definitely probably attributes to that. But just overall, like, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, I thought, back in the day to us when we were kids, 34 was like, oh, girl, you need to go to a convalescent home, honey. But now it's just like, I see all these 50-somethings and 60-somethings, and even my mom looks good for her age. So anyway, listen, I had to work this weekend. I was not happy about it, but I'm all for the money. And I ended up getting off early. And I was scrolling through Instagram. I was going to shoot the show today, but I was like, I'm going to take a break before I do my glam and everything else. And I stumbled upon this ad for this new John Galliano documentary that came out back in March that I had no idea about. I don't know if my head was in the sand or what. And it's entitled High and Low. It's a documentary about the life and career of iconic fashion designer John Galliano, who we just talked about last week. And let me tell you something. If you guys get a chance to check it out, it's $4.99 on Amazon Prime, but it also is on this new streaming service. And by the way, sidebar, what the fuck is going on with all these different streaming services? Streaming services are popping up like channels on Comcast. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And they all got the same shit slightly, and then they all charge these different subscription fees. Listen, whatever I watch on whatever I got is what I'm watching. Anything else, I'll catch it on YouTube. Bye-bye. But this just so happened to be on both. So I had to watch it. I didn't even want to wait until after I said I have to watch it. Because, and I'm going to tell you something. Complete transparency. When it comes to the incident of him in Paris that we talked about on the last episode, they shied away from nothing. Even interviewing some of the people that he verbally assaulted, that till this day are not pleased with him. Now, I'm not going to say till this day because I don't know what transpired, but because I think that they taped it back in 2022. I think when they show like the years when they pop up and they're talking to different people, and some of the people in the documentary, it's footage of interviews of them from before, because I think one or two of them might have been passed on by now. I think more so over than that aspect of it, just the humble beginnings of John Galliano. It's not about the money when it comes to this. To real fashion people. Fashion is a freedom of expression. It's art. It's no different than a archival, John Galliano gown to me is no different than, a painting at the Louvre. You know what I mean? So when they talk about him and he's talking about his humble upbringings, he was like, it was never about the money for me. He was like, we would go to McDonald's and be sitting on the floor. And then, Andre Leon Talley is in it. And he's like, there's that clip of Andre Leon Talley resurfacing all over the internet right now. And he's like, fashion is not beautiful. It's dirty. This man made his collection on the floor. He has no money, and he honestly didn't have any money. And the way Andre Leon Talley and Anna Wintour swooped in and really nurtured him and gave him a shot, and the way that, it came together in the end, his first collection in Paris, and being from London even, that was, a triumph that he had to face in Paris. It was just, guys, if you ever get a chance to watch High and Low, a documentary about the life and career of John Galliano. Please, especially those of you who don't really see fashion as an art, but more so as another way to, make it a status thing, you definitely need to watch. You definitely need to watch because it will change that mindset. I was blown. I was blown. And then he smokes like a fucking freight train. And I also have to say, I said in the last episode when we were talking about this that he had been sober for only 2 years. He's actually been sober for 11 years. So I have to retract that statement. Which also leads to the next piece of, this whole crash, this whole John Galliano spiral. I find it odd that the rumors are now circulating and that this documentary came out. Because that makes me even think even more that it's possible that he could be returning to Givenchy. But then there's another side of the documentary that I also touched on. I said this last episode, fashion media and mainstream media collectively, when there's news of a designer maybe going to another house or leaving a house that they've been at, it's almost like they talk about them like they're chess pieces. And when I watched this documentary, the workload that was expected of him while he was at Dior, and it's so crazy to watch that when you get to that level in whatever pool you're swimming in within art and entertainment, how once you get that attention, you almost kind of see the person like not even really want to do it anymore, because once the money aspect of it gets involved, it really fucks it up. And I'm saying that with all due respect because, as you know, when he was at Dior, he was on, Dior is owned by LVMH and Mr. Arnault. I was pronouncing it Arnault, but it is Arnault. And, I'm not trying to disrespect him, but, in the same breath, it's something to be said when you have one person designing, styling, and getting inspiration for 32 collections a fucking year. That's crazy. And he did not shy away from the incidents in Paris that kind of had his career in a nosedive. So again, guys, I don't want to tell you too much. A lot of it is public information, but some of it you might not know, because some of it I didn't remember or I didn't even know. You know what I mean? The thing with fashion, and I see a lot of people online like, oh, well, this person doesn't know this, and this person is wearing fake this and this. And listen, if fashion is art, then it's all subjective. Don't be so bourgeoisie about fashion. It's always something to learn. Nobody knows it all. Especially not you motherfuckers out here on the internet. Okay? So just chill out and make sure you check out that motherfucking documentary. And by the way, he smokes like a freight train. I was smoking right along with his ass. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of John Galliano. I love his work, and just to know more about his rise, just make sure you watch it. Anyway, so we're going to touch on a little politics. So after 40 years, the United Methodist Church has lifted its ban on LGBTQ plus clergy during a meeting of top I have a lisp. I have a hard time pronouncing this. Legislative body in Charlotte, North Carolina on Wednesday. Now, this ban has been in effect since 1984. Honey, I'm laughing. I have to pause because before I say anything else, let me keep reading. So, and this is from, this is an article that I stumbled across on CNN social media. So let me continue reading. The church had mandated this ban since 1984. It was a ban on self-avowed homosexuals, and the ban also later added performing same-sex unions to a list of chargeable offenses that could result in a church trial. I have never heard of such a thing, and I was raised in the Methodist church. I was almost a PK kid because right before my father died, he was ordained in 2005. My parents always took us to church. Church was a part of our life. So I know the Methodist church. And you guys know I live here in Virginia, and the Methodist church, my mother is very active in the Methodist church, and the Methodist church has been arguing about this for years. There's even a Methodist church in the town in which I live that almost had padlocks put on the door because of a member of the LGBTQ plus community wanting to be in its choir. You know, it amazes me that people really think that God needs help. How can you read that Bible and a church trial? God does not give any of you permission to say who can and who cannot come in his house. And I am so glad that after 40 fucking years of bigotry, that this has been overturned. The Lord says, come as you are. We are living in a society where people are playing God, and that's why it's so dangerous out this motherfucker. Y'all are out here playing God. A church trial? Nobody has the right to play judge and jury over somebody's personal life other than God, if you believe in what the good book says. When it comes to religion, there is nothing Christian about it. How dare you? And then I read something else, and I don't know how true it is, but I can believe it, that allegedly is saying that there's a good percentage of members of the United Methodist Church that are going to leave and find another denomination within the Christian faith to go to. So that just lets me know you're not really a real Christian to me. Because if the Lord said, come as you are, and we know by reading the Bible, the Father, the Son, nor the Holy Spirit need anybody's help with anything. And we know that when we go into these places, that this is the house of the Lord and nobody else besides him has the right to judge. What the fuck are you having a trial for? I don't care what denomination you are within the Christian faith. Let me lean in. You do not have the right to tell anyone that they are not welcome in God's house. You have no right. God didn't give us that right. At all. So I have to say, not huge congratulations, but thank you to the United Methodist Church for really coming to the realization that these are still children of God. Whether you like their personal choices and their mates or whatever it is that they do in life that you don't agree with, it's a lot of things in that Bible that we're not supposed to do. We're not supposed to mix certain fabrics. We're not supposed to be eating crab legs. Oops. We're not supposed to be, eating swine. Oops. It's a lot of things that are considered an abomination in the Bible. And let's not get started on the Bible again, especially with us black folks, because I refuse to believe the European Bible, a book that was handed to us by our oppressor who didn't even want us to read. I'm taking that with a grain of salt. And that is not to say that I am an atheist or anything like. I know the Lord. I talk to the Lord. I have a relationship with God. And I talk to God the same way I talk to y'all, with a little bit more respect. I mean, I talk to you guys with respect too, but you know what I'm saying. And why is it that gay and trans issues are so hot right now? It's sickening to me. Like, seriously. There's a whole lot worse going on in the world, baby. A whole lot worse. We're going to get to the worst in a minute. But before that, anyway, before I get to the next story, I just want to say, I think it's really brave of the Methodist Church to do this. Because, and I also think that they are finally really starting to go by the Bible. You can't tell people they can't come to church. You can't tell somebody that because they're gay, they can't sing in the choir. That's not right. Now, unless if you find out they do something heinous in the church or to somebody in the church, then that's a different story. But if they are there trying to serve the Lord and trying to just have some stability in their lives through Christianity, who the fuck are you to tell them, get the hell out of here? It's a special place in hell for motherfuckers like you. And a lot of y'all gonna be standing at that gate confused as a bitch as you drop down to the lowest level. So, again, huge congratulations to the Methodist Church. Now, let's go on to our next story. So, legendary American designer darling stunned the world and went and broke the internet by Ralph Lauren. Earlier this week, I'm stumbling real bad. The legendary fashion powerhouse Ralph Lauren debuted his latest collection at his private design studio in NYC at his Madison Avenue offices. Listen, when we talk about Ralph Lauren is, to me, much like Michael Kors. And people do, like, there's different levels of both Michael Kors and Ralph Lauren. And people do tend to make fun of people that wear like polo and stuff like that. But listen, a good brand is a good brand. And Ralph Lauren, the designer and the brand, has stood the test of time. I mean, the man owns a cafe that stays just beyond busy. I mean, from, home goods to candles to scents to bags to accessories. I mean, the man is just a genius, creatively and business-wise. Well, he debuted this new collection, honey, and set the interview ablaze. Check this out, honey. I mean, really giving. Listen, I'm so excited about this story. I don't know why. Just give me a second to get my shit together. I'm a little buzzed. He's really putting attention on the clothes, with the way that the setup was, the way the room was set up. It was small, it was intimate. I love those just kind of like boutique style fashion shows. It's clean linens, it's candles, it's wine and champagne, and then you really have a chance to just really look at the clothes. Like, sometimes we don't need all that extra shit. Sometimes the extra shit is nice, but then other times you just want, and it really it really depends on what direction the collection is going. Let me tell you something. This is everything. I loved every piece. I love the fusion of, this cowboy core, but it's like a classic Ralph Lauren Americana with high glamour and pushing it into a timeless, effortless, and elegant space instead of like, yeehaw, like extra literal, like even with this closing look with Anak Yai, who closed the show in this just simple but yet so elegant sequin dress to the floor with this cowboy hat. And it's just, everything is just so sharp, so clean, so effortless. I mean, I absolutely love the show. It was a lot of celebrities there, including the legendary actress, honey, Miss Glenn Close. Yeah, I just thought it was amazing. I loved it. And this is how, if we're going to do cowboy core and Americana, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And it's just, he's like giving you a nuanced version of, his own aesthetic. This has been, when we talk about, again, cowboy core Americana. Anyway, when we talk about those things, that is, to me, Ralph Lauren. So who else better to really tell y'all and show y'all how it's done than the master himself? So huge congratulations to Mr. Ralph Lauren. And I also love that he chose a Nucky Eye to close the show. A beautiful, just a goddess, honey. A black goddess, honey. So I see you, Mr. Ralph Lauren. We always appreciate the all-inclusiveness. Anyway, so what is the next? Oh, Lord, I know what the next story is. Jesus! So, Virginie Viard, Virginie Viard, one of these days I'm going to get these names down pat. She debuted the 2025 cruise collection in France earlier this week for Chanel, and to some not so nice commentary. Now, before I get into the collection, I'm going to say this. She has been working with Chanel since 1987. She started off Chanel in 1987 in the embroidery department. Then she left Chanel with Karl Lagerfeld to go to Chloe, and went back to Chanel with Karl Lagerfeld and stayed there till he passed, being promoted along the way. I don't like how we talk about these designers. I think we have to be more sensitive when it's an artist, a real artist. I definitely think we have to be. I mean, people were like, "Get her the fuck out of here! This bitch doesn't." I mean, like, nasty. And it doesn't have to be that way. This woman obviously is a talent. She's been in fashion for almost 40 years. But I'm going to tell you what the problem is here. The collection definitely gave 2 for 1. It definitely gave that. It definitely gave Dot's bargain bin. It definitely gave Belk's. It did. But I also think that because she has been with the house for so long and Karl Lagerfeld for so long, that has been her whole career. Chanel and a stint at Chloe and back to Chanel. She's always been under the umbrella of Chanel. And I think she feels like, through the years, to my knowledge and from what I've read, through the years, and, with Karl, she kind of became like very close to him. So maybe she feels, a little like she has to stay in the parameters of the house with the tweed. God, if I have to see one more thing in tweed, Jesus. I can kind of see why, and maybe she is afraid to step outside the box. Maybe she's been with Chanel for so long. Maybe she's afraid to step outside the box because she never got a chance to go out and explore for herself. That could be a possibility too. Now, do I think Chanel needs a refresh and a new creative director? Yeah. But that's not to say that Virginie Viard is not talented. That's to say, I think Virginie Viard needs to move on and really make a name for herself, because at the end of the day, she worked under Karl Lagerfeld for so long. She needs a chance to spread her wings and really fly. And I think that's maybe what's going on here, in my personal opinion. Now, if we want to talk about who should replace Virginie Viard, there is a very talented, very talented, very beautiful designer by the name of Carly Cushney. Now, Carly Cushney had her own brands. I really came across her during the pandemic, and she had a line with Target that I have a piece from it, and I still have it till this day. I mean, for you to get it at Target, it's impeccably made, and it's a really good fabric, and I've worn it several times, and it's still washed it several times, and it still looks stunning to this day. She is somebody that is. It's not all about the label and the foulala. It's about the technique and the architecture of the garment. And she also has that sleek Upper East Side mixed with a Parisian sense of style, even in the way she dresses till this day. Now, Carly Cushney dismantled her brand a few years ago, and after the whole stint in Target, and I haven't really heard much about her since. I don't even know if she would want to design or be a creative director for a house like Chanel, but I think she could do it. I definitely think she could do it, and I think it would be a great thing to see a black woman at the head of Chanel. It would be momentous. It would shut it the fuck down for Chanel to have a black woman at the helm. In my personal opinion, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. But that girl, Virginie, girl, if I don't want to be here was a collection, honey. If I don't know where else, like, and sometimes, and listen, this is not to say that she's not talented, because you can see in the clothing, the details, the fabrics that are used. It's Chanel, for crying out fucking loud. It's nothing but the finest of the foin that she's using to make these 2-for-1 dots Belk outfits. This is Belk at its highest level, darling. This is the haute couture collection for Belks. That's what it gave me. Now, am I going to pay thousands of dollars for it? No. And then I hated like the patent leather shoes with the pastel. I don't know. But I do think that she's talented. And this is the worst collection I've ever seen of her. And people they really drag her like she's the worst designer out here. When it's a lot of designers that y'all are like, oh my God, because, that person is at a heritage house and the house is so big. And, and they need to go too. But as far as Virginie Viard, there's something mysterious about her, and there's something really exciting about her. It's just not translating well at Chanel. And I don't know if she feels this way. She might have looked at it and said, oh, darling, it's fabulous. I don't know, but something in me was like, girl, just push them girls out there. Hair the sketches. Just push them bitches out. If you've been at a job for a very long time, sometimes you get to feeling stifled. That's happened to me before. Sometimes it could be how long you've been there, and sometimes it could be the people that you're there with. So, I mean, listen. Put some respect on her name, because I feel like if she was to go somewhere else, it wouldn't even be, it would be no question. I think she would shut it down somewhere else. Now, where that somewhere else is, I'm not quite sure. I think it would have to be a roll of the dice. I could see her at Givenchy, possibly. She has a dark romance. Sometimes I see it and it's like there's a dark romance to her, like, just wanting to burst out, like a real goth aesthetic to her that really wants to bust out. But she's like, but I'm at Chanel and I have to do what I was taught. That's how it feels to me when I look at her shows. It's not that she's not talented. It's just like, okay, I have to do it this way. And I think if she's gonna stay at Chanel, whoever the owner of Chanel is, I don't know if LVMH owns Chanel because LVMH owns everything, but I don't know who owns Chanel. But if that's the case, if that's how she's feeling, well, girl, somebody call her to the principal's office and tell her, baby, you could do something else. Maybe nobody has given her like, hey, try something a little different. Take it your way and run with it. Maybe nobody's ever said that to her, but they need to if she's going to stay there. You know? Anyway. Also in fashion news this week, Louis Vuitton creative director Pharrell is launching a new jewelry collection with American jeweler, legendary historic American jeweler, Tiffany & Co. Now, the collection will feature black titanium and it is entitled... it is entitled Titan. It is inspired by Poseidon, the ruler of the sea, king of the underwater city Atlantis. Atlantis was also the name of the community that he grew up in none other than Virginia Beach. And he said he was also, he was inspired. He grew up in Virginia Beach. He grew up around the water. And I tend to talk about trash about Virginia, because my parents moved me here against my will when I was 14, and I'm from the city, I'm a Jersey girl, and, they moved me down here to the country, but Virginia is a beautiful place. It's beautiful, especially Virginia Beach, so I could only imagine growing up around there, and, now you're a creative director, it goes hand in hand. The choice of material that he used, when I first read it, when I was first reading the article, I came across on Women's Wear Daily, I was like, black titanium? Mm-hmm. But he said in an interview that the use of black titanium is a physical manifestation of beauty in blackness. So I thought that was so beautiful, especially to have that at Tiffany & Co. When I've seen them work with black people before. It's not like they're like, oh, we don't work with black. It's not like that, but they could definitely do it a little more often. That goes for a lot of these brands. You know what I'm saying? So, huge congratulations to Pharrell. Now, I haven't seen any of the pieces, but I'm definitely gonna go on Tiffany's social media and check it out. So yes, huge congratulations. I'd love to see us, pushing through and getting into spaces where, typically before, in certain positions we weren't before. So huge congratulations to him. He's making a huge wave at Louis Vuitton as well. Even though I think you should bring Dapper Dan in to co-creative direct with you for a collection. Just saying. You like how I do that in there, right? Okay, so for our last story. Earlier this week, Trump was campaigning. The fugitive, the con man, the bullshitter, the jerk-arounder, the sexual harasser, the bad shaper, the baldy, the great pumpkin, Donald Douche Trump. Listen. Let me just cut straight to the chase on this. So earlier this week, he was campaigning, and he had this to say. Check it out.
We're going to rebuild our cities. We're going to bring them back like they used to be. We're going to make them safe places again. We're going to give our police their power back, and we're going to give them immunity from prosecution. So they're not prosecuted for doing their job. We'll take over the horribly run capital of our country, Washington, D.C., and clean up, renovate, and rebuild our capital city so that it's no longer a nightmare of murder and crime.
Anyway, so I tend to tune him out sometimes when he talks, so excuse me for that brief pause. Listen, why are we still covering this man? Why is this man getting this? He is a con man and a criminal and a terrorist. I said it and I ain't taking it back. I said what I said and I ain't changing. He is a con man. He is an insurrectionist. He is so ignorant, so bigoted, so fat and greasy and nasty and dirty and disgusting. He is everything that you wild, red belly conservative Republicans said you were not. And you guys are following right after him. And all it took was $1,500 and some milkshakes and some gold tap shoes for a lot of you black folk to run right along behind his ass. And I'm gonna keep it real now. This ain't nothing but what did I say earlier? I said this ain't nothing but if kill a nigga for any goddamn reason was something to say. That's basically what he said. Kill these niggers for any goddamn reason. I don't care. And I'm going to make sure you get away with it. And a lot of you black folks sit up on the internet, a lot of you rappers and a lot of you celebrities, well, I like the shoes. Oh, and let's not get started on when he starts talking about the LGBTQ plus community. Oh, honey, y'all black folks join right on in. Not all, because we are not a monolith. Not all, but a few too motherfucking many. And now look. It's the same with the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida that had the Black History in Schools thing at the bottom of it. And a lot of black folks went down there and voted for it because the first thing they saw was, fuck the fags! And they went down there and signed it. And now your children aren't even taught their own history at school. I say it all the time. They don't like you either. I think this country is becoming the biggest joke. It's plain as day what the fuck they're doing. They're not even hiding it anymore. And if this man becomes president, they are going to let him do anything that he wants to do. He has enough lackeys in the Supreme motherfucking courts. He has enough lackeys in government. People, the Republicans are scared of him for whatever reason. I don't know how you could be scared of somebody who is immensely overweight and eats nothing but Big Macs covered in ranch and blue cheese and ketchup all day. He probably smells like sour egg salad. And you know what? I saw that cover story you did on him, Time magazine. Why are we giving this man so much attention? Innocent until proven guilty, guilty until proven innocent, goddammit. When we talking about the president of the United States of a motherfucking America. Let's get fucking real here. This is an overhyped con man / reality TV star who has broken the law several times, not to mention his trial in New York that's going on that has garnered him 9 gag order, what's the word? Gag order, gag order defiance, whatever you want to call it. Defying the judge's gag order 9 times. If that was any other normal, regular American citizens, they would be locked up by now. Those of us, especially those in my black community, wake up. This isn't going to be nothing but doom and motherfucking gloom. It's going to be like The Purge. And I'm going to tell you something. With the way some of us talk about each other, especially, again, I'm trans. And listen, I heard somebody said, I love your show, but you need to chill with the tranny talk. That's what somebody told me in my DMs. Like, I love your show, but chill with the tranny talk. I'm never going to chill with the tranny talk because, bitch, I'm a tranny. And, bitch, listen, this is stuff that I go through that I see in my daily life. Black folks, even the ones that don't feel that way, when you see it, call it out. Because it's all a vicious trap to get you to sign your rights away. I was having a conversation with my homegirl Yanita the other night that took us into 2:00 in the morning. Shout out to my girl Yanita. Hey girl. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things. Like we were talking and really talking like, this is why this and this is why that. And she was just like, yeah, we do have to get to the point where we hold each other accountable. And, she was like, anybody that's around me, I'm not tolerating it. And that's how a lot of us need to be. And I'm really thankful for that conversation, because a lot of the times I go into certain situations with my people and I tend to think, okay, they're not going to like me. They're looking at me kind of strange, and sometimes that, and I'm a Gemini, so I rationalize everything. I rationalize the fuck out of everything. And I'm a sensitive soul. But yeah, she just confirmed a lot of things for me that put me at ease, and a couple of other people in my life too, like my sister and a lot of people. But that conversation, with a person that I don't know as well, it just put me at ease. You know what I mean? So we just have to start being kinder to each other and really paying attention to what the fuck is really going on here. They're trying to take your rights away. They're just using us to do it. They're just using us to do it. Anyway, guys. Fuck Donald Trump and his lace front and his, blue cheese belly. I like this outfit. Y'all are going to see this. Y'all are going to see this again. I'm Alexis Carrington Colby. Anyway, guys. All right, now. We are just days away from this year's Met Gala. I'm excited. I've been looking up, like, ooh, what do I want to see people in? I have a few pictures here. I know everybody's going to take it so literal. But when I think about a garden, and then the theme is a garden in time. But when I think about a garden, I just don't think about flowers. I also think about the people that usually are in gardens and what they wear. Like, when we're talking about like high society, I live on a compound and let's go to the garden. I think about what those people would wear. So, and I also think of, a bride in a garden. So one of the references that I would like to see somebody in is this archive Givenchy Haute Couture 97 look from the collection by no other than Lee Alexander McQueen, who is one of my other favorites. I would love to see somebody either in the actual dress, if they can, or in homage to it, an homage version of it. But we will see. I will be going live. I got to really figure out how I'm going to do that. And so make sure you stay tuned to all my social media platforms. That's only YouTube and Instagram. And so I will be going live, covering the Met Gala red carpet, watching the Vogue with you guys, watching Vogue's YouTube channel with you guys. So make sure you stay tuned. And I will be back on Tuesday with another episode of Jaja's Atelier, which will probably air on Wednesday, because, it takes me forever to download these episodes to my tablet and then to YouTube, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, love you. Ciao.